Hey everyone, so I just finished my first 2 weeks of school and it was quite the ride. It started Tuesday of last week, the day after I got here. My first class was my business Japanese class and it was my first real experience with like a college class and I actually really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I've been in like a classroom type setting, so that was definitely interesting, but it felt good. It's a super small class because honestly, like how many people are interested in business Japanese? So that's nice. And then also I like my professor a lot. He's like a Japanese guy. He's really nice and he is really well versed in business. And yeah, it's a good class. So the next day I had my first in-person class and it's actually on a satellite campus. So I went about an hour north to Salt Lake City. I took the train and I had my writing and rhetoric class. Like I said before, I really enjoy writing, so I was definitely looking forward to the class and it went really well. My teacher brought donuts, so that's a plus, and it just seems like a super cool class that I'm going to be enjoying from now on. And later that day I had my third and final class, which was my religion class, my class entitled The Eternal Family, and it was cool to be able to see the professor again because like I said, I know him from before, so that was cool, and it was a cool class. I guess turns out it's going to be mostly about families and marriage and like how they work and how like you can be successful and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a really good class. You'll notice that my classes only take up a 2-day span of time, and that is special to this past week. So normally it'll be a 3-day kind of class work week, but my Japanese class, which is normally twice a week, was only once this past week, at least the week I got here. I feel like I've definitely made a few friends and I'm getting a little bit more comfortable like walking around campus and just being here, which is really good. I'm really glad that I definitely feel like I'm adjusting pretty quickly. There is one thing that has been a little bit of a struggle though, and that is stress, actually. I didn't really expect this coming out to like have this amount of stress, but I guess it makes sense, like doing this for the first time in my life. I've just been feeling stressed a lot more consistently than I have in a while. The thing is though, stress isn't coming from school, like straight from school necessarily, but really it's coming from the money side of things, like my finances. And I'm gonna be pretty honest here, so you know, bear with me. But I started working pretty immediately after I got home because I knew if I wanted to go to college, I was gonna have to save up so I could actually have the money to get out here. And I'm out here now, and I saved up that money, but now that I'm out here, I've spent it all on kind of getting out here and everything else. So I really need to be able to get a job to sustain myself going forward. So it's been kind of a stressor to like have to figure that out and like there to be like actual stakes, because I've never been in a position where like a job was any more than just like something that gave me casual like passive money to spend, where it actually like meant something for my life. So this is definitely new, and it's been interesting to try to manage the stress, I guess, that comes from that. So if I just get like a decently paying job, that would make everything a lot easier, and I don't think I would be quite as stressed. But I'm working on that, and I've put in applications to a couple different places, and I'm trying to work on possibly doing something with video, but I don't know if that's going to work out or not because it's kind of tough to find that kind of job quickly. I'm definitely going to be looking going forward, but at least for now I'm probably just going to get like a regular like hourly, maybe restaurant type work or whatever. By the way, if you want to like help me out with this whole thing, genuinely just like sharing a video with a friend that you think might be interested or anything along those lines, and hitting that like or subscribe button if you haven't already, genuinely do make a big difference in how much people see my channel and how much I can grow and things like that. So please feel free to do that if you want to help me out. Anyway, now that I've publicly disclosed my money situation on the internet, we should probably move on. I feel like I'm probably going to be embarrassed about this in the future, but I don't know. I guess I'm being honest. Also, to be even more honest, a funny thing you should know about me is when I'm really stressed, I get cold sores. I kid you not, I think I'm actually already like, you can't, so this little spot, I mean, it might not show up on the camera, but it's a little bit more red than normal, and like I can tell there's a cold sore coming on. I think it's like, I've worked on my stress a little bit and it might not be too bad, but so I guess you know now that that is also a thing. I think I've even had like, there's been times in my YouTube channel where like I've been very clearly stressed. Like I can see because I have cold sores, but people just think I have like weird skin disease. So I guess they're another embarrassing thing to share on the internet. Either way, back to my first 2 weeks. So I got to go to all my classes again this week, and it was another really good week. Everyone in my business Japanese class found out that I do YouTube, so that was kind of interesting. Konnichiwa if y'all are watching. But it's always kind of interesting when like people from my real life watch or at least know about like my YouTube channel. It kind of gives me a weird feeling because I don't really talk about the fact that I do YouTube very often because I don't know, it just seems like a weird thing to talk about, and it's almost this like strange like secret side of me, even though it's definitely the least secret side of me because I'm literally putting videos on the internet for anyone in the world to see. But there's just this disconnect between my like regular life and my, I guess, YouTube life that don't meet very often. So like when people in regular life, you know, talk about it, it's this like, it's just weird that those things connect all of a sudden. Anyway, after another tangent, I had a few reading assignments for my writing class, unsurprisingly, and I actually really enjoyed them, and they were really interesting to me. And after all that, I had my religion class again and my Japanese class again, which went well. I did learn though that I do not study enough, so we had like a quiz at the beginning of class, just to quiz vocabulary. We talked about it in like the last class, and I did not do as great as I thought I might, so turns out I need to study vocabulary a little bit more. So yeah, it's definitely interesting to have to study, like memorize things, which is not something I normally do. So that'll definitely be something I have to work on. I feel like overall it was a really good start. Like obviously it was a little bumpy here and there with not having all my stuff in the beginning, but I'm actually really glad to be here, and I'm excited about like the future and where things are going to go. By the way, I've gotten a few questions about it, so I'm just going to answer here. So BYU is a church-sponsored school. It's sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is the church that I'm a member of, which means it is going to be the cheapest school that I can go to. It's just over $3,000 for a semester, which is like really, really cheap for a school like BYU. And even if you're not a member, I think it's like just over $6,000, which obviously is a little more expensive, but it's still pretty cheap in like the grand scheme of things, looking at colleges. So yeah, just to answer that question. And also while I'm here, I just thought I'd answer a few more questions on the last video. Spitfire Spilly, which is an interesting name, asks why I don't just do, or kind of something along the lines of why I don't just do trade school instead of college, because of like cost and just kind of return on investment and things like that. And it kind of goes back to the reason I'm actually going to BYU in the first place. And that reason is I really felt kind of led to BYU specifically, that it was the school I was supposed to go to. Like essentially I felt led by God that kind of this is what the right thing was to do. So if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be doing college or anything like that at all. So that's why I'm here, I guess. I'm still trying to figure out exactly, you know, what I'm supposed to study and things along those lines. But I do feel I'm in the right place kind of at the right time. So yeah, that's why BYU and not, you know, a trade school or something along those lines. Colleen Center asked if I plan on getting a full degree. I don't actually know yet. I know I definitely felt led to BYU, but I don't know if I feel led necessarily to get a degree in something. It doesn't seem to make sense to me for what I want to do, but at the same time, I wasn't going to go to school in the first place, so I might feel that is what I'm supposed to do at a certain point. But right now, I'm kind of just taking like generals and doing what feels right, pretty much. And I guess we'll see where it takes me. But yeah, to answer in short, probably not. But I can't guarantee anything at all. I know some people might disagree with the idea of not getting a degree, but just that's the way I feel. Like it doesn't make sense to me a whole lot. So because of just what I want to do with my life, I think it makes sense to just maybe even take a few classes and be done with it, or, you know, not necessarily get a bachelor's or even a master's or something like that. So that's kind of my idea at this point. And finally, a few people actually suggested that I like get an on-campus job, which is something I did think about, but I don't think I'm going to go with, because a lot of on-campus jobs, well, they're like convenient and easy. They don't pay very well. So getting anything off campus is generally going to pay a lot better than any on-campus job. So I decided that it's best if I, you know, find a slightly higher paying job, just to be able to kind of have things run a little bit smoother. So yeah, that's my mentality behind that. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. I really genuinely do appreciate all the support on my last video. There were a ton of really kind comments and things like that that really made a difference, and I appreciate it. Again, if you want to help me out, please like, subscribe, share this, kind of things along those lines, because it really does make a difference in helping me be able to grow and kind of achieve my goals, I guess. If you have any specific videos you'd like me to make, please comment them down below, and I will, you know, try my best to make those videos. But thanks for watching. See y'all in the next one. Peace.